Hi everybody, Geraldine Rose here. I'm doing a practice card for both the Secret Garden Retreat and YouTube Live. You haven't done a live in about 8 months, and it's the day before you are teaching in a workshop, doing a 2-hour session for everybody. Sort of seems like the right time that you might want to test if your equipment, like the webcam and the microphone, are still working, right? So that's what I did. I started making a practice card. This was also with the products from the Secret Garden, and those pre-retreat classes start on Monday, so 2 days after this. So I just thought, you just better start getting in the feel on this again. And what I'm doing is Sani-Smooshing. And I hadn't heard of this before either until I saw Sharon Luska's video. Sharon, I'm giving you a shout out, hon. I told you I would. I watched Sharon do it, and she created an incredible wood texture with hers. And basically what you do is grab out your alcohol inks, some hand sanitizer that we've all got left over from COVID. I also brought out some of my dispersion liquid, a little bit of the 99% alcohol too. And when you're doing this, working with alcohol inks, make certain you're in a well-ventilated area. I am right next to our upper window on the 3rd floor, so I wasn't too worried about it. You're going to smoosh a bunch of hand sanitizer down on a surface that's impermeable. I'm using the lid, as you can see. Sprinkle your alcohol inks over top, the blending solution, speckle some alcohol on if you want, and when you push the cardstock down, make certain you've got coverage all over it and pull it straight up from 2 sides so that you get those ripples, like the ripples that you would see in stream ripples or on the beach after the waves have gone out, or that you would see in wood. And you can re-dab it in to get more texture if it's not working. The cardstock on the left is just a normal hammer mill. The one that I've got in my hand right now is a glossy photo paper. I found that one didn't pick the texture up as much. It was quite a bit smoother. So you can see I've got my blower out and I am going over it to create some of the more traditional style of alcohol designs on there. For the leaves, I'm going in with just the green tones. I'm going to do that with both the photo paper and with the hammer mill. And because I don't have metallic alcohol inks, I thought, what if I try shimmer spray? Because, it's kind of metallic shiny. And so you can see I'm dabbing some of that on there in the green tone. And it wasn't coming out enough. So then I just smooshed it on. And when I squish the photo paper into this, wipe your nozzle, by the way, so it doesn't clog. When I pulled it up, I couldn't really see the shimmer metallics in there. When it dried, it had kind of little speckles over it. So I would qualify that as a fail. But it was still a neat enough effect that I was able to use this for some other things that I was goofing around with. You see, got the blower out again. Because that didn't work, I'm just going to try doing some of the regular styles on it. But I found that because of the sanitizer, it was still giving me more texture than I would normally get with less effort. And you want to do like one main pull. At least this is what I found worked for me. One main pull and then maybe a couple of dabs in after and then stop. Set it aside to dry. So the one that's a lighter colored yellow, I'm going over and accentuating that yellow again with some of the shimmer spray. Once everything is dried, and the cardstock ones dried pretty quickly, but the photo paper ones took a little bit longer, I'm then running them through and die cutting them out for either the leaves or the flowers. I also got out some yellow cardstock and cut the flowers out with that, so I'm going to have the 2 contrasts. Oh, and while the shimmer spray was still wet, I also put some sparkly embossing powder on it, and I sparkle embossed it. And now I'm running the trellis die cut through. I want to have them climbing up a trellis. So I cut out one part with double-sided adhesive on the back so I wouldn't have to worry about gluing all the little lines down. And then I also cut the card panel on where I was going to put that trellis over top of it. They also have pedestal vases in this kit. So I'm cutting them out in cream and I'm cutting it out in a darker beige color. It was probably Desert Storm. Of course, having to run them through the embossing folder one at a time. And I'm going to offset the one behind the other so that it kind of gives it a little bit of a darker shadow. I am going to come over top of this with some ink blending, and then I am going to give it a little bit of water spots as well. That part I didn't film because, this vase planter has been outside for quite a bit, and so it's been banged out around a little bit. It's got a little bit of character to it. For the flowers, as I said, I think these are sweet potato vines. Thunberger. I'm going to have to check the name on that one. Anyway, they are in tones of yellows and oranges into the reds as they age and develop the other colors before they fade and drop off. And they've got dark brown centers. So for the centers, I also brought in some of the Ranger, the Scorched Timber, and I'm just dabbing in the center. And I'm going to let it bleed out a little bit because it's going to give a wee bit of a veining effect out through the yellow portions of the petals. Here's where I'm pulling the backing off and sticking the die cut trellis out over top of the part of the cardstock panel for which is going to go on the card base. And I'm seeing how the panel that we had shimmer sprayed with the sparkly embossing powder, how it looks behind. So I thought I would use the Stylish Greetings, and I'm using some of the other panels that we have, and I did one in the darker yellow orange and one in the yellow green, and you see that? They just faded into the background. So I got out some brown cardstock, and I'm putting that over top. I'm offsetting it, but I'm putting the yellow up towards the top so that it's like a highlight and not like a shadow, because if it was a shadow, we would need to put the darker layer like below the other ones. So got that side with the block on it. I have taped the vines in the spots that I want them to go, just with some of the satin tape. It's low tack tape, so it's not going to damage them when I pull it up. And I went back in with the leaves after and glued under each one of those individually. For the inside of the card, this one comes with Honorable Sentiments, this Secret Retreat kit. And that's the one that I'm using for the message that's going to be on the inside. I started out with the lighter yellow tones, and then I came back in with some of the oranges and some of the greens, and I ombreed it over that sentiment because that's kind of my thing. Like apparently I'm becoming known for it, but I like doing it because I like using all the colors, right? As long as you don't push things over, of course. This is the sub-sentiment that was also from that set. We get that down, and it's time for some splatter. So I've also apparently set all of the flowers into spot, and I was using the gold mica ink for that. I had the Take Care covered up so that I wouldn't get the splatters on the sentiment. Now, I've just glued this down. I've just been working on this card in the background today and testing to see if this is all going to work out. What I'm going to do next is I am just going to pick up some of the bling bling, and we're going to throw her down. Let's see. Now, these are some of the Spellbinders ones, the Peach Opalescent, but I don't like that one. Fussy, right? Okay, let's tuck some up in the flowers. This is always the part that gets me because most of us do that triad to arrange them, but then it's still trying to make them work with what you've got going on in the card. And right now it looks like it's going like that. So I think we need to bring these over to this side to balance them. If I run it down that side. Okay, I was trying to see if that pocket. No, see, I don't like that. As Kathy says, you can't make fetch happen. So the reason why I'm pulling the peach is because we've got a lot of those tones with the yellow, the red, and the pinkish tones through the background. We've got columns happening. We've got a column on the right. We've got a column of the flowers in the middle. And a column happening on this side. I am just going to start gluing everything down. All right. It is quite a tacky glue, so it's thicker than most. It is good for, of course, putting your bling down, especially if you're putting it over the surfaces like I've got with these guys, which are embossed with a sparkly embossing powder, so the surface is hard to tack onto. Okay, so there's our finished card. This is using product from Altenew from the Secret Garden, and I thought I would just get ahead and just, as I said, this is just a practice one anyway, so I will take some photographs of it. Thunberger. I'll have to look the name up on it because when I put the yellows in, it just disappeared. So I brought the dark brown in, and that stood out a lot better. And then on this side, it's got a little bit of an extra layer that I've chopped off here and here so that it's still fairly level on the card. And then it has that lattice upright die cut that was in the kit over top of a panel that's been alcohol inked with some sparkly embossing powder because shiny, shiny, bling, bling, right? And then I just embossed this side with the waffle diamond embossing folder. And on the inside, that is from one of the heritage sentiments that's in the kit as well too, and sort of ombreed it. That's my thing. And of course, custom stamp on the back. And I can see that I've got spots on it already. Awesome, awesome. But there we go. I see that I'm going to have to watch where I am putting it in the window so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, let's do it again. All right, bring it up and we'll hope that we're focusing. Oh, see, you're getting the shine now, right? And there we go. There's the inside. And just stamp by Geraldine Rose on the back with one of my roses. Okay? At least I think that this is working. Okay? Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye now.